Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com, coming to you to look at game 391, 392 in primetime. Notre Dame takes on Georgia. Georgia 14-point favorite in this one, total of 56. We got a lot of great content over at BangTheBook.com to have you ready for this week of college football, including my college football power ratings, which were posted earlier on in the week. We'll have lots of free pick articles as we get closer to kickoff for all of this weekend's action. We'll have NFL power ratings from Danny Vorgs either Wednesday night or Thursday morning over at BangTheBook.com. Make sure you check those out. Danny does a phenomenal job. 58% the last 2 years with sides and totals in that article. Looking forward to reading another one here this week. Bang the Book Radio every Monday through Friday. Please check that out. You can check out the segments right here on our Bang the Book YouTube page, and you can also find the full shows and the segments all over the place out there. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Podbean, SoundCloud, wherever you want to look for Bang the Book Radio, odds are you're going to find it. Lots of great free pick content on our Bang the Book YouTube page here this week. 3 NFL picks from Brian Blessing, some golf previews from him as well. Then I've got 4 college football video previews for you here on our YouTube channel, including this one with Notre Dame and Georgia. As I mentioned, Georgia a 14-point favorite here. And that number may surprise some people. Over the summer, Georgia opened a 9.5-point favorite in the Golden Nugget Games of the Year lines. Georgia took money immediately. So, Georgia just a team that had a very high perception coming into the season. A lot of people saying that they were a top 4 team in college football. Well, they get a chance to possibly prove it here in this one. Only the 3rd all-time meeting between these two teams. Georgia won 2 years ago in South Bend, a nail-biter type of game, and then won the Sugar Bowl back on New Year's Day in 1981 over Notre Dame. Look, it's hard to know what either one of these teams is going to look like here in this game and over the course of the season. This is a concern with early season college football betting that some of these teams just really haven't played anybody. Notre Dame, only 2 games, did have an early bye, probably able to work some stuff in for Georgia during that off week. They had a slow first quarter against Louisville. I think the threat of a mobile quarterback kind of bothered them a little bit. That was a 14-7 Louisville lead in the first quarter, but then after that, Notre Dame outscores Louisville 28-3. Didn't cover the number, but came away with the relatively easy victory there against Scott Satterfield's scrappy team. Other than that, Notre Dame's played New Mexico, blew them out. A lot of people are going to blow out New Mexico. Georgia playing Vanderbilt in week 1, opening with a conference game in what was essentially Athens Northwest. I mean, it was probably a 60-40, 65-35 type of crowd. Georgia very well represented there for what was essentially a road home game for them. A lot of games in Nashville are like that with all the reasons to travel to the Music City. Other than that, Georgia not really played anybody. They played Arkansas State last week. I thought Arkansas State would give them more of a game than they did. And then they also played Murray State. So an FCS team and a Sun Belt team for Georgia. Look, Georgia's played easy pitch and catch. Jake Fromm's off to a great start. They've got 7.6 yards per carry. But they are stepping up in class, obviously, here to take on Notre Dame. Georgia 3rd in yards per play. Notre Dame 10th so far. So, these two teams, if we want to look at about the only frame of reference we have, 6.5 yards per play for Notre Dame against Louisville, 7.6 for Georgia against Vanderbilt. But again, Louisville and Vanderbilt, 2 of the lower caliber teams here in the Power 5 early going. So how do we evaluate this game? How do we break this game down? I will tell you this. My number on the game is Georgia minus 13.5. So I'm pretty much right there where the market is. Side and total, not really moving at all for this game. If there was a 13.5 out there, it's mostly gone to 14. Total basically sitting where it is in that 56 range. Ian Book is the key to this game for Notre Dame. He's not as efficient so far this year as he was last year. So that is something that Notre Dame does have to worry about here in this spot. Now, he hasn't turned the football over. But the problem is, Georgia's not an option team by any means, but they will run the ball down your throat if you let them. And Georgia does have a big size advantage in the trenches for this game. Their offensive line is monstrous. Notre Dame's defensive line may be a little bit undersized. So Georgia should control a lot of the things about this game, which adds to the importance of Ian Book, because when Notre Dame gets the football, they better flip field position or get some points, Otherwise, they could get run off the field here in this game. Notre Dame last year, again, Notre Dame plays one of the toughest schedules year in and year out, at least on paper. But last season, Michigan, not as good as we thought. Stanford, not as good as we thought. Virginia Tech really falling off here the last couple of years. Florida State missed a bowl game for the first time in 30, 35 years? USC, down year for them last year too. So Notre Dame played a challenging schedule last season on paper, but they caught a lot of teams that were on a downslope. Georgia is not that team. Georgia is a legitimate national title contender. Obviously, that road goes through teams like LSU and Alabama, but they're still a very legitimate title contender. I don't think Notre Dame can hang here in this spot. It's a big number, but the only way I would look is to take Georgia. Georgia's the better team, the better coach team, and the stronger team. So I lean with Georgia and also lean the under 56 here, which is tough. But again, I don't think Notre Dame has a lot of offense in them for this game. Neither one of these teams play with a ton of tempo. I don't think there will be as many big plays as we've seen from both of these offenses. So lean Georgia, lean the under. Nothing particularly strong in this game, but with it being a big game in primetime, definitely wanted to have a video, give you some thoughts, give you some food for thought, and you can decide for yourself what you think about this one. But again, for me, the lean here in game 391, 392, Georgia minus the 14 and the under 56. I'm Adam Burke for BangTheBook.com.